The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some independent Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent Optavia coaches. Optavia makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with Optavia results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the Optavia income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
Welcome. I'm so excited that you're with us, and I'm really privileged to be with you tonight. My name is Dawn Chou. I'm joining you from Portland, Oregon, and wherever you're at, I just invite you to grab a pen and paper, unless you're driving, because that's not a habit of health, but really sit with us and enjoy this next 30 minutes, because we are going to dive into one of my favorite topics, which is loving yourself to optimal health. And I think that that is such a good topic to talk about, especially as we've just dove into element 2 about where you want to be and really the strategy around what it is you want to create. So let's get started tonight. I want to share a little bit about me. This is my beautiful family, but I actually discovered this community 10 years ago, and I was looking for a diet, you guys. I was looking for something that I thought would fix my life in the sense of reducing my relationship with gravity. I thought I needed to lose 25 pounds and that it would fix everything. Well, fast forward 10 years. And yes, I did lose some weight. In fact, it was 45 pounds. But you guys, what changed more than anything else was me from the inside out. And it was really falling in love with this community. Like this time that we're spending together tonight, it was diving into the tools that we have, which I'm going to talk about. And then we are really going to give you some tangible tips tonight. So first of all, before I dive in, let me know who you are. Who's joining us? Are you a coach? Are you a client? Are you a guest? And if you're a guest, I just want to say welcome. We love that you're joining us and spending some time with us tonight. And we're going to really dive in. So here is our transformation system. And you guys, I know that many people have been around, because we've been around for a long time, but many people were around before this system was launched, and because it was just launched this last year. And I just want to say, if you don't have this system in your hands yet, go get it, because this system is actually the key to long-term sustainable transformation. And the Habits of Health book is your reference for a healthy life forever. And for those of you who are listening to the replay or on audio podcast, you can't see me, but I want you to know I am holding up my life book, because this book, you guys, this is where you get to write your story. You get to design your life. You get to be the creator of your own goals and your own dreams. And so I just encourage you to grab that book out and listen to your health coach when they say, hey, have you started in element 1? Go ahead and do that, write your name on it. And I loved what Joanna shared when she went over element number 2 was just spend 5 minutes a day, you guys. Just 5 minutes. Put that book where you get up in the morning and you have your coffee, and set a timer and spend 5 minutes writing the story of the rest of your life. And then the other piece to this is your app. That app is such a handy tool, and it goes with you everywhere. It's kind of like your personal assistant reminding you, hey, it's time to eat. Oh my gosh, have you had your water? You're doing great. So just don't forget that if you haven't yet dove into these, do it, because it is the foundation of what we teach and talk about on these calls. And really, truly, it's the foundation of the rest of your life and optimal health. So I'm so excited that we finally have these. Tonight's agenda, we're going to be talking about mindset, skill set, and action. Everything starts with this. And if you have the right mindset, you're equipped with the skill sets, and you take action, you can change anything in your life. And so tonight we're going to talk about the mindset of really understanding the value of self-love. What is it? It's not just a slogan. It's not just jargon. It is so important. And it is the inside work that affects the outside impact of what's going on in your life. Your inner game affects your outer game and how you show up. And then we're going to really be discussing strategies and skills and habits that you can instill along your journey so that you can learn to make progress in this area little bit by little bit, and every little thing counts. And you will wake up in a month or two, or maybe 6, with a drastically different outcome in your life. And we're gonna actually take some action together tonight, you guys. To do that, we're gonna give you some specific steps and some tips. And we've got some incredible speakers who are gonna share from their very own experience, some of their own tips. So let's look back at last week when we talked about element 2. And if you haven't listened to that, that's okay. You can catch the recording or the podcast. But last week, Joanna talked about really identifying your willingness. Where are you at? What do you want to work on in those macro habits of health? Where are you at with your healthy weight? Where are you at with your eating and your hydration? What about your healthy movement or your sleep? Are you ready to improve on each of those macro habits? And then we really are going to dive in this week, reaffirming where you committed last week to making changes and really improving your optimal health overall. So just want you to have your life book handy and refer back to element 2 as we go through this podcast tonight. All right, so let's talk about what is self-love. Self-love is really an awareness. It's a knowledge of our own personalities and our own unique and individual gifts and our own character, right? And it's just understanding who we are so that we can learn to appreciate and accept who we are. It's really recognizing that some of the things that you might think are your limitations might actually be your biggest gifts. I just have to be completely transparent, you guys. I am not the most organized person. I don't necessarily win any awards for being on time or remembering where my car keys are, okay? And I just have to tell you that for many years, I beat myself up about that. I beat myself up about being forgetful or about being scattered. And now I realize that that spontaneity in my unique personality is one of my biggest gifts. It's one of my gifts to myself, my family, and the world, because I have a gift to connect and I love to be around people and I love so many things other than remembering where to put my keys. So now with the tools that the Habits of Health book has given me and the Life book, I can actually create a cue on I put my keys in the same place so I know where they are. And so I've created a habit loop that actually allows me to understand my unique abilities, to own them, and to use it actually as a strength, and then to really carve time out for yourself. So I just want you to think for a second, what is one individual unique personality of your own that might be an actual gift that you might be beating yourself up over? And let's move into the benefits of self-love. Like, you need me to tell you about the benefits of self-love because there are a lot of them, but it boosts your confidence. Yeah. Yes, please. I would love some more confidence and to show up in the world in a brighter, shinier, more in love grounded way. It attracts positivity. What you give out is what you get back. So if you love yourself and you are grounded and you know your strengths and what you offer the world, it will attract others who also know what their strengths are, and we're better together. It increases our motivation and our productivity. Yes, please. Who would like to be more motivated, get more done, and have more productive days? I know I would. And then how about health and personal growth? You guys, personal growth is something that no one can take away from you. And your health impacts your longevity. It impacts the amount of time that you are able to spend on this earth with the people you love, doing the things you love. And then last but certainly not least is improving stress management. I mean, I don't know about you, but 10 years ago, I was working as a full-time registered nurse and I was not taking very good care of myself. I was stressed out, I was exhausted, and it rippled into the whole world around me. Now that I take time for myself, this single most important thing has changed in my life. So let's take a poll. I would like you to take a moment. We're just going to allow about 75 seconds for you to do this. But what would improve most in your life if you loved yourself unconditionally? So go ahead and take a minute there. Go ahead and select your answer. And they are A, confidence, B, social interactions, C, stress management, D, prioritizing myself and my needs, or E, unconditional love for others. So those of you who can't see the screen, I just read off the options and I want you to think about in your mind, what would you pick? For those of you that are on live with us, you can go ahead and click that. And then we're gonna move on because I want you to hear from some people who've actually had real life experience with this. And so I'm going to bring on my dear friend, Michele, who's been a coach and a friend for 6 years. And she has really had her own personal journey with this. And she's got some tips and some things to share with you. So Michele, my dear, are you with us tonight?
I am. Hi, everyone. Hi, Dawn. Thank you very much for asking me to be on. When Dawn asked me to talk on this topic, it really is one that does kind of touch me a lot. Thinking about self-care and just learning to love yourself. I don't think for a long time that I did love myself. And like she said, that I've been a coach now for 6 years, a client for a little over 6 years. And self-love was a hard one for me. I seemed to love everyone else. I was all about taking care of other people. And not even until recently did I learn to start taking care of myself. I've never been a morning person. I'm one that hits snooze forever. I'm one that didn't want to get out of bed because I wasn't happy with myself. And it would put me in a very bad mood. I'm also a teacher. I've been teaching for 20 years. It would put me in a bad mood even when I would get to work. I had a very long commute to and from work every day. I still do. I'm still teaching. And I decided this summer that I needed to make a shift. I needed to change that. I was the one that had control over that. I was the one that could change my mood and how I treated my students and how I treated my friends and my family and how I started my day. So this summer, I decided that I'd worked on my healthy body. It was finally time for me to work on my healthy mind. So I read a book this summer that completely shifted everything in my mind. And when my mindset shifted, it truly changed everything. And then like she talked about the life book, when this life book came out, this was where I started to get this skill set. And I was diving into the transformational system. I was diving into our amazing community that we have. I never used to jump on these calls. I was even a coach and I wasn't jumping on them when I was a client. I really wasn't as a coach. And it wasn't until recently that I started being on every single one of these every Wednesday night. And this summer when I made this shift is when the action started. So I was done feeling like this. I'd read this book and I decided that every morning I was going to start doing the important things first. I was going to start putting myself first. So this non-morning person, I'm 44 years old, never been a morning person. Don't talk to me. Don't ask me to ever get up early. Never, unless I'm going on a vacation somewhere warm. And I started getting up an hour earlier. So before I would always hit snooze starting at 6:30, I started setting my alarm at 5:30 in the morning. That is insane for me. I started setting the alarm. I started getting it up and I started with gratitude. Every morning I started talking about what I am grateful for. Every morning, I spend a couple minutes reading my life book. This does my reading and my journaling together. Not till this weekend did I hit on visualization. I just this weekend finally made a vision board. It is in my room on my wall. I work out in my room to a specific workout for about 20 to 30 minutes every morning while staring at my vision board now. I then talk myself through some affirmations. Every morning I look in the mirror and I tell myself my list of affirmations that are on there. And those simple changes, you guys, have changed my life. I do all of this also while listening to podcasts. We have some amazing leaders just within our own company that have their own podcasts. There are so many podcasts out there that we can listen to, and I listen to them every single morning. So this non-morning girl that never used to get out of bed until the very last minute to rush out to the door, to be late to work, to be snapping at my students, stressed with my coworkers, tired when I got home from my long commute, I now love my commute because I listen to self-help books or amazing podcasts every morning to and from work that calm me, release me, make me feel like I'm putting myself first, and it's then having me show up for my students better. It's having me show up for my coworkers better. I'm more productive at work. So you guys just took that poll. And for me, number one was stress management. I am not perfect. We all have triggers. This year, just in December, actually, I got engaged a couple days before Christmas. That should be every girl's dream, exciting time. A week later, my dad got really sick. And in the past, I would have turned to wine. I would have started drinking. That's how I would have dealt with what I'm going through right now. And I haven't. Instead, I have turned to the life book. I've turned to podcasts, and I've turned to this community. And I'm a totally different person than I've ever been before, thanks to Optavia and thanks to all of you. So I just wanted to share a little bit about a non-morning person in very stressful situations, you guys, there's something out there for us, and this is it. Thanks,
I love that. Michele, thank you so much for just sharing from your heart. And what I love is you were able to take charge of your life by organizing your morning. And you guys, the way you set your morning up is very much a way you can like ripple into the rest of your day. For everyone who's wondering what book, I mean, literally, yes, the life book, guys, the life book is the big one. But you know, the life book is brand new. So before Michele had the life book, she actually found this book called The Miracle Morning, and it just helped her organize her life. So for those of you that are asking about that, because the chat was blowing up, it's a great book. But the thing is, however you decide to do it, is organizing your life and putting some time into your morning or your afternoon or wherever it works for you. That's one of the keys of self-care, and that's where self-love starts. It's actually making time. We make time for the things that matter most. Well, we should be on that list too. So I just want to encourage everyone to just take a mental assessment of, are you on your own list of the things that are most important to you? And while we're at, let's share that poll. Let's share the poll results. Look at this. Okay, so you guys, what would improve most if you loved yourself unconditionally? Let's see here. Overwhelmingly confidence. 33% of you said confidence. 27% said prioritizing myself and my needs. And that is what Michele was just talking about. And then we kind of have a three-way tie for the things that would improve next. It would be stress management, and then social interactions, and then unconditional love from others. But one thing I know, you guys, is that we cannot pour from an empty cup. And so if you take care of yourself and you refill your cup, you will have more to pour out to others. And just making that commitment of, you know, start small, start with 5 minutes. Spend 5 minutes in your life book every day, and then add 5 minutes onto that until maybe you have an hour carved out of your day for you. All right, I'm so excited to go ahead and bring on our next speaker, and that is my dear friend, Rebecca. So Rebecca, I just want to share with everyone, so fun fact, you guys, Rebecca actually is a nurse like I am, but way back in the day, let's just say 15-ish years ago, she actually gave me my very first job as a brand new grad RN. And now that has come full circle. And here we are coaching together, loving on others. And she's here sharing with you about self-care and self-love. So Rebecca, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me, Dawn?
I sure can. Take it away, Rebecca.
Thank you so much for inviting me to speak tonight. And thanks for sharing these photos. I love seeing that picture in the middle of George and I celebrating my 50th birthday in New Zealand. I have been a nurse for over 20 years and a distance runner for over 30 years. And I really do strongly identify with those two things. I've always considered myself a really healthy, active person with a lot of knowledge about wellness because of my nursing career and my running. Unfortunately, in December of 2017, I realized after a terrible event that sometimes our reality isn't in alignment with our identity. I was just getting ready to run my first of 12 half marathons in 2018 to celebrate my 50th year. 2 weeks before that, I experienced a back injury at work, and my life turned around overnight. Yes, I was a runner and I was very fit, but I was far, far from being healthy. Nursing did give me a lot of knowledge, but my knowledge really circled around illness and disease and symptom management. And just being a nurse myself, it set me up for a really bad case of burnout. I was taking care of everybody except myself. So in June of 2018, I reached out to Dawn. As she said, we've known each other for a good long time, and I had followed her journey and I trusted her. I reached out to her because I knew I needed to do something different than I had been doing for the last 20 to 30 years of my life. She helped me lose 27 pounds, but more importantly, she gave me the tools I needed through Optavia to really start recognizing what I wanted my life to look like and what I needed to do that. And so with her help, I created my own self-care routine. Nursing has taught me that the human body has an amazing capacity to heal itself. And Optavia has taught me that we each have an amazing capacity to rewrite our own story. And it's never too late, because I did it in my 50th year. And so I thought I would share my top 5 self-care and self-love tips. These are things that have helped me over the last 18 months create the life of my dreams. Number 1, learn to recognize when you need help and ask for it, just like I did with Dawn. Get very, very clear why you want to change your health and what your vision of your health looks like. It's going to help you learn when you need to say yes to things and when you need to say no to things. And a really great tool that you'll learn with Optavia is stop, challenge, and choose. Third, just like Dawn and Michele have been talking about, you need to dive into your life book if you have not done that yet. And again, like Michele, it's really important to come up with your own daily self-care routine. Mine looks a little bit different than Michele's. Mine includes healthy motion. I've been really into hiking lately, gratitude journaling, and also mindfulness practice. And last but not least, it's really important to give yourself permission to feel and experience a full range of emotions. As a burned out nurse, I survived by just stuffing everything down, and it doesn't work, because eventually you're going to numb yourself not only to those really unpleasant experiences, but also the real joy that you can find in your life. So Dawn, thank you again for helping me on my journey and for inviting me here to talk tonight. It is not my forte to speak publicly, but I appreciate you giving me this chance. And I wish everybody out there listening just the best health possible. Thank you.
Well, Rebecca, thank you so much. I wish you guys could all see the chat blowing up who are listening to this replay. And I know that you'll listen again to get her top tips, because those were just incredible. So Rebecca, thank you. And I just want to call attention to this very last slide over here on the right of you with that just joy, sheer joy on your face, riding your bike. And I love to see that and how it has just rippled not only from you to so many other people, where you have actually, taken control of your life and your destiny and of your gratitude and being really present. And so thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So you guys, as we kind of go into the final few minutes of this call, I really want to ask you a question, and it's about your healthy mindset. You just heard from Michele and Rebecca and what they had chosen and what they decided to do. My question to you is right now, how committed are you to improve your health and your feelings and your emotions in the way that Michele and Rebecca were just talking about? And I want you to actually put a number to that. So on a scale of 0 to 10, I want you to think about it. And go ahead and put it in the chat if you want to, but you don't have to. But just think about it. Maybe share it with your health coach. That would be a great thing to do, is pop a text over to your health coach right now and say, I'm listening to tonight's call, or I just listened to the replay, and I want to let you know that I am an 8 or a 10. But I also want to say, listen to the things that might be holding you back. So if you're not above a 7 on the committed to make some changes in loving yourself more and putting yourself back on your priority list, then it's okay. It's not something to be upset about or to beat yourself up over, but it's just something to be aware of. And just think, what might be holding me back from my best life? What is holding me back from putting myself at the top of my priority list? All right, so here are some tips. And maybe you even want to take a screenshot of this if you're listening. But if you're listening to the podcast or the recording, I'm going to read these off. These are the keys to how to love yourself, and we're going to walk through them. I want you to think about defining the core emotion that you are feeling, because you guys, we have emotions and they are not good or bad. They just are. It's literally energy flowing in and out of our body. One of the most important things that you can do is become self-aware of what those energies are. There are some main core emotions that can actually hold us up in life, and those are anger, sadness, and fear. There's other emotions that are good emotions like joy and creativity. But what I'm talking about tonight are becoming aware of the things that could maybe be a stumbling block to you and just defining where they are in your body. So you guys, anger can kind of show up in our shoulders, our jaw. Maybe you clench your jaw. Have you ever found yourself doing that? Maybe you find yourself clenching your hands. That means maybe you're irritated about something. Maybe you're angry about something. Have you ever cried or felt like just a tightness in your throat? That can be sadness. And you guys, fear is one of the emotions that can really stop us in our tracks. And that can sometimes feel like a rock in our belly or butterflies in our belly. So I want you to really locate and think of, when was the last time you had an emotional reaction to something? Because it does show up in our bodies. And what we're going to do is be aware of that. And then the best thing you can do is just breathe. Take a nice deep breath in and out, and release that emotion to just move through you. Okay, allow it, accept it, and dare I say, even appreciate it. Ask yourself the question, what is this emotion here to teach me? Why am I having this emotion? And think about the last time you had an emotional experience, and maybe it was fear. Maybe you were afraid that if you had a really stressful day, you had a bad morning with your children, whatever happened, and then you went to work and there was this big old spread in the break room. Or maybe it was someone's birthday. Maybe you let yourself get into fear of what someone else might think of you if you chose not to have their birthday cake. Has that ever happened? Or maybe you got into fear of how you might react or respond in a situation. Sometimes that can actually trigger a negative emotion and an unhealthy choice. So what we're talking about tonight is actually identifying what it is you're feeling, stopping and taking a breath, allowing it, accepting it, and asking yourself, why am I feeling that? And then you get the wisdom from the emotion. And sometimes you have to let that move through you. Sometimes if you're angry, maybe you go take a shower and scream in the shower. Maybe you go work out. Maybe you go whatever. And if you're sad, let yourself cry. If you're fearful, though, sometimes you just got to lean in and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? And is it actually true? And get the wisdom and then move forward on what you can do. And I want to remind you guys, strive for progress, not perfection. It is not about being perfect at this. Remember, I've been practicing this for 10 years, and it's just been really over the last year through really practicing it and putting it into daily activity, and with the life book and stopping, challenging, and choosing, that I've gotten, to the point where I can actually change my habits and my outcome and like my choices that I make. So here's the action steps again. The next time you have an emotion that floods through you that might trigger you to make an unhealthy choice, realize that you are in control of your emotions and you can take charge right now, like snapping your fingers. You can stop, you can take a deep breath, and you can challenge. What is it that I want most? And then you and only you has the power to make the choice that aligns with what you want. And so I just want to remind us all to make ourselves a priority and to put yourself on that priority list for you, and to really think of what might be holding you back from doing that, or what might be holding you back from putting yourself higher up on your priority list. What might that look like? And I want you to think about a takeaway that you've had from tonight's call or from listening to this recording. And I want you to text it over to your coach. Let them know what you enjoyed about this call. Let them know what you learned about yourself from this call. And let them know what you are excited to do. So this is a poll for those of you that are on live. Please click how you liked this community time with us tonight. Excellent, very good, good, below average. Oh my gosh, I hope no one says poor. But you know what? Hey, own it. It's your emotions. I'm going to just go ahead and put excellent because I think it's been excellent. But I want you to really share with your coach what you took away. And then I want to let you know that you can always listen to these. These are all on recording. These are on our Optavia Habits of Health YouTube channel, and they're also available on podcast. I want you to go to that and subscribe so that you get notified when new elements are posted and new recordings are up. Feel free to comment and interact, and then you can always listen to the replays. All right. But I also want to really invite you that if you enjoyed this week and you enjoy this recording, join us. Join us live next time. Next week, we have element number 3 in the life book presented by my dear friend Chantel Flake, and she's incredible. So I want to invite you to please join us next week. But also I want to thank you for being with us tonight. I want to thank you for showing up for yourself and for taking that next step in putting yourself on your priority list, managing your emotions, and really choosing your best life possible. So I just want to thank Rebecca and Michele. I want to thank you guys for sharing your stories, and I want to thank all of you. So I hope you have a great night.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some independent Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent Optavia coaches. Optavia makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with Optavia results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the Optavia Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan, which differs from the International Compensation Plan. Yours in health, the Optavia team.